Many countries have mandatory vaccinations on different types of vaccines. Other countries have installed it for COVID-19 vaccines for certain areas. Simply, we have 66% of the population so far which has got the vaccine. This is too little, too late. And the only way, the only exit ticket we have is the vaccine.
Are compulsory vaccinations actually legal?
Yes, it is legal. We had obligatory vaccinations already in the past on different, illness. And so this is not a new legal instrument we're installing. And I'm sorry to say that we have to go this way. I'd rather have it other way. And we have done 10 months of campaigning, of trying to persuade people, but still we have a certain share, nearly 1/3 of the population, which is hesitant. And we have a political force in this country, the Freedom Party, which is openly running against the vaccination and saying this is bad for you, don't take it. So we have a very peculiar situation in Austria, which brought us together with the biggest opposition party, the Socialist Party, together to say we want that and we need that.
I've spoken to a number of people, vaccinated and unvaccinated, who say it is my personal choice as to whether I get the jab or not. What would you say to them?
Well, I would agree, obviously, but we are together, and this is, it's a common body. So if you're in a society, you don't only have rights, you have obligations. And if you neglect these obligations ostensibly, then they become compulsory sooner or later. And we have a higher good. This is, you could say, the healthcare of Austria. And nobody wants a situation where you don't get access to an intensive care unit because the beds are filled by those who have not gotten the vaccination and got COVID-19. So at the end, everybody is suffering.
If someone refuses to get vaccinated, what will the penalties be?
Well, the idea is to have an administrative fine. So it won't be prison or anything. It will be a fine. It will be a payment you have to do. And it's rather about showing the people that it's serious. This is something they really have to think about. We all have common responsibilities. And the challenge we're facing is not a challenge only for the government, federal government or regional government. This is a challenge for every person of us. We have the choice to protect ourselves, to protect our families, the loved ones, our co-workers, colleagues and friends. And if not enough people take this decision, then I believe it's right that the society as such says, we want you to do that. We really want you to do that, and that's the debate we are having now in Austria.
I spoke to one woman this afternoon who said she didn't know who she could trust. And this seems to be quite a widespread reaction here in Austria at the moment. How is that a failure by you as a government to deal with that lack of trust?
No, this is definitely an enormous challenge. And we have continuously learned, because we started off in March 2020 with a whole other level of knowledge about the virus. We now have a new variant, the Delta variant. We started off by saying 2 vaccinations are sufficient. Now we know by the expert that it needs 3, that it needs a booster shot. So it's actually, while we confront the crisis, we continuously learn more about the virus. We continuously learn more about the measures we have at our disposal against it. And obviously the different voices you hear create insecurity. And you have experts saying different things, you have members of government saying different things, you have different countries in Europe adopting different measures. And this conundrum creates insecurity. And I fully understand, and I see it as our task to try to explain as clearly as possible what we want to achieve. And it's actually quite simple. The only exit ticket we have out of this vicious circle is the vaccination for the time being. So get vaccinated, get your first vaccine, third, or your booster shot. Whatever it takes, get safe, and that is the only way to get out of it.
Are you worried this might backfire? By saying everybody has to get a vaccination, you give vaccine skeptics the chance to fight against you?
Well, I acknowledge that we'll never get 100% rate of vaccinated people in Austria or in any other society. There is a certain percentage which will be skeptical to the end. But it's a lot lower, I believe, than the 35% we have not yet vaccinated in this country. And I believe there's a fair share of people we can convince, people who might have thought, I'm not affected, it will pass by, I don't need it. We in Austria have an extremely dense testing capacities. So you can go through life only by being tested without getting the vaccine. But now we're saying, no guys, this is not sufficient. We won't continue with these testing facilities until hell freezes over. We will end it one day. We want to get out of this pandemic, and the vaccine is the only exit, and please do it.
The eyes of the world are upon you with these decisions. How does it feel to be in the spotlight?
Made these decisions to bring in the compulsory vaccination. You're also, I know the city of Vienna is vaccinating children under 12. How does it feel to be in the spotlight this way?
Well, I'd rather have the pandemic as something we look back in the past and we consider lessons learned. And it's a sorrow feeling to know that Europe is again the hotspot worldwide of this pandemic. And it's something which has to make us think, because we are a highly industrialized country, we're rich countries with well-developed health systems, and it seems we are stuck again and again in this pandemic. And there's a circle of, virus waves followed by lockdown discussions. And the thing which is actually sad, because we would have the means to get out of it at our disposal, and that's the vaccine. Science gave it to us at the beginning of this year, and not enough people in Europe are using it. And I'm only responsible for Austria, so we are taking this drastic step. I'd rather have it otherwise, but we have to do that, I believe, because we want to break out of this vicious circle, and I don't want to have other lockdown discussions with the fifth wave, sixth wave in springtime 2022.
Chancellor, thank you very much.